Hare Krishna. Welcome to our program. Our speaker of the day is Shriman Gaurang Darshan Prabhu. He has done his master's degree from the prestigious Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Prabhuji is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who is a senior disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He is also a member of ISKCON Examination Board and takes classes on Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and Vaishnav etiquettes. He has written elaborate workbooks on Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, with which the students can dive into intricacies of these great scriptures. He is a compiler of many other educational booklets and magazines, thus helping the seekers of Bhagavad knowledge. In all, he is a living encyclopedia of scriptures preaching the science all over the world, and who is exemplary and lives whatever he preaches. Come, let's hear him and try to imbibe the essence of scriptures as presented by him. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We were discussing this beautiful episode of Samudra Manthan, where the Devatas and Danavas came together for one purpose of attaining nectar from churning the milk ocean. So many products came out of this Samudra Manthan, like Uchchaishrava horse, Surabhi cow, Airavata, Kaustubhamani, Padmaragamani, different kinds of elephants, and finally this Varuni, the wine also came, and the demons have taken it. Finally, as the last product of this churning of milk ocean, we receive this nectar. All the demigods and the demons were so excited as soon as Dhanvantari manifested with this nectar pot. Dhanvantari is also a partial expansion of the Supreme Lord Krishna, and then he came in a beautiful form, handsome form, with this big jug of nectar in his hands. At the time, all the demons came there and snatched away this nectar pot, and they took away, and all the demigods were deprived of nectar, and they were so dejected, so disappointed. At the time, Lord Vishnu reassured these demigods. He said, "Don't worry, my dear demigods, you did not lose nectar." So because the demigods surrendered to Krishna, they have taken shelter of Lord Narayana, Lord Vishnu. It is Vishnu's responsibility to take care of them. They have lost everything now, but they will gain everything very soon. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Ananyas chintayanto mam. Any person who, without any deviation within his mind, if he always thinks about Krishna, if he always takes shelter of the Lord, then it is the Lord's responsibility to take care of such a sincere devotee's yoga and kshema, prosperity, and whatever they lack, Krishna will provide, whatever they have, Krishna will protect it. So, devotees are people who are completely under the shelter and protection of the Lord. They need not worry even in the midst of greatest calamity. Here the demigods, the devatas, are devotees of Lord Vishnu. They lost things now, but they will again get it. So Lord said, I will take care, I will do the needful that you get the nectar. So Lord Vishnu immediately took the form of a beautiful woman named Mohini Murti. The demons, after snatching away the pot, nectar pot from Dhanvantari, they went aside, and instead of distributing that nectar amongst themselves, these demons, every single demon was overwhelmed with selfish attitude, so they were not providing nectar to other demons. Everybody is greedy to accept all the nectar for his own self. So like that they were quarreling amongst themselves. The demons are not only quarrelsome with other people, they had quarrels amongst themselves also. They cannot think about others. It is the demoniac mentality that makes a person become so selfish that they have no sense of affection or friendship or love towards other beings, even their fellow mates also. All the demons, overwhelmed with their selfish attitude, they were not providing nectar to other demons also. Everybody is trying to take away the nectar for himself. At that time, this Mohini Murti has come there. Mohini Murti was watching these demons, and all the demons were quarreling. And some demons who were very strong, they were just subduing and sidelining the weaker demons, and they wanted to drink. And some weaker demons who were unable to quarrel with these stronger demons and then take their rightful share of nectar, they were speaking about righteousness. They say that, hey, these demigods also worked along with us to get this nectar. They are also so powerful. They also contributed to this whole endeavor to churn the ocean and bring out this nectar. You should give a share to them also. So these demons who are supporting the demigods in this context, they are doing it not out of their affection for the demons, their affection for the demigods. They are doing because they are not getting the nectar. The stronger demons are snatching all the nectar from us. We weaker demons are deprived. So let us join these demigods also in our party. So these demons were quarreling like this. They were not thinking about others. So this is selfish mentality. So at this stage, we will see Mohini Murti appearing on the scene in front of the demons with her very enchanting and captivating movements. So she was exquisitely beautiful, and all the demons looked at her. She could completely capture the minds of all the demons in one shot. So the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who has accepted a woman form, also can easily captivate the minds of other men so easily, so effortlessly. It's so natural for him. In fact, it is often understood that Lord Narayana is the most beautiful amongst all men, and Mother Lakshmi is the most beautiful amongst all women. Just like Vishnu is the topmost beautiful personality amongst the males, Lakshmi is the topmost beautiful personality amongst the females. But actually, when Vishnu accepts a female form, her beauty is more enchanting than Lakshmi's beauty also. When Vishnu accepts a female form, that female form of Vishnu has better feminine attributes compared to Lakshmi's form also. That is how the Supreme Lord is beautiful. He is beautiful not only amongst men, he is beautiful amongst women also. He is the most beautiful amongst all men and all women. The beauty of the Supreme Lord Narayana is so captivating that it does not captivate only the demigods, only the demons, only the women, only the men. It is captivating himself also. The Lord is attracted to his own beauty also. That is the spiritual beauty. Material beauty is satiable. People who are captivated by material beauty, they cannot behold that beauty for a long time. So after some time, that beauty will become very stale, but spiritual beauty is permanent. So the Supreme Spirit Krishna, the absolute truth, the Parama Satyam Krishna, in whichever form he manifests, whether he manifests a two-handed form like Rama or Krishna, whether he manifests a four-handed form like Vishnu, or whether he manifests an 8-handed form or 10-handed form of Vishnu, or 1000-handed form also as Sahasrabahu, he is always beautiful. Or even if he manifests the form of a hog like Varaha-avatar, half man, half lion like Narasimha-avatar, or a tortoise or a fish, Meena-avatar, whatever may be the avatar, the Supreme Lord is so beautiful. Now here is another beautiful incarnation of the Lord in the form of a woman. So Vishnu appeared in the form of Mohini Murti, and all the feminine attributes of the supreme male Vishnu captivated the hearts of the demons, and the demons very spontaneously kept trust on Mohini Murti. They all said, "Oh dear woman, oh beautiful girl, where have you come from? Whose daughter are you? Are you married? Looks like you are not yet married. You are looking for a proper match. So can you please tell us your whereabouts, your background? So please tell us so that we can understand you. Looks like you are looking for a proper husband." Every demon was thinking that she loves me. Only I have completely captivated her attention. So because the Supreme Lord can simultaneously glance on hundreds and thousands of people, and everybody who is looking at the Lord thinks that the Lord is looking at me only, but the Lord is looking at everyone simultaneously. That is the speciality of Krishna in whichever form he is. Even in Vrindavan also, when Krishna is in the midst of thousands of gopas, and there are some gopas who are behind Krishna, they are in front of Krishna, they are like several rows away from Krishna, but every single gopa is able to understand that Krishna is looking at me, Krishna is standing right in front of me. But Krishna is facing one side only. But here is Mohini Murti, who is a expansion of Krishna, who is a female incarnation of Krishna. She also could captivate the hearts of all the demons at once. So the attraction towards the opposite gender is so prominent in this world that even great learned people also get captivated by this attractiveness. So the opposite gender, man is attracted to woman and woman is attracted to man. So this attraction between male and female is so prominent in this world that even learned people, powerful demons or demigods or human beings or animals or birds, they are all captivated by this potency of attraction towards opposite sex. This is called Maya. This is called illusory energy of the Lord. And the personification of that illusory energy in the form of Mohini Murti has completely captivated the minds of all these demons. The demons asked questions to this Mohini Murti, and they were expecting that this Mohini Murti should love me, should marry me. They all said, "Oh dear girl, we are all quarreling amongst ourselves. All of us are sons of great sage Kashyapa Muni, and we are all supposed to be equal to each other, and we should be distributing this nectar amongst ourselves, but somehow we are unable to do it. So can you please take this responsibility, take this jug of nectar in your hands, and then you at your own discretion distribute this nectar to all of us. We are unable to decide who should take first, who should take first. So you please decide." And Mohini Murti said, "Oh my dear powerful demons, I am not trustworthy. I am very illusory personality. I may captivate you completely, I may cheat you fully. You should not keep trust on a woman like me. So better you don't keep any faith on me. Later I may cheat you." So as if he is joking, Mohini Murti was saying that in the form of jokes, she revealed the truth. She said, "I am going to cheat you if you trust me." And all the demons were thinking that, "Oh, this woman is joking. Actually, she loves me, so she cannot cheat me anymore. So she will not cheat at all." So they all spontaneously trusted her intentions, and she indirectly revealed all her intentions very openly, as if she was joking. So when a truth is mentioned in the form of a joke, it is not taken seriously, especially by those people who are completely captivated by this illusion. So Mohini Murti could easily captivate the minds of all these demons, and the demons very innocently trusted her and kept this big jug of nectar in her hands. And Mohini Murti said, "Okay, fine, all of you take bath, all of you purify yourselves, put on kusha mats, and then sit there, I will come and serve the nectar." So she took the jug and she made all the demons sit in rows, and she also called the demigods, she made them also sit in rows on kusha mats. All these demigods and demons, both parties together sat in rows to receive nectar. And somehow the demons did not protest. Even when the demigods were sitting also, the demons did not protest. Why? Because they were all captivated by the Maya, captivated by the feminine attributes of Mohini Murti. Mohini Murti completely illusioned them, so they did not have any doubt. And this Mohini Murti took this pot of nectar and went to the row of demons. And she spoke some very sweet words, very captivating words, and then totally mesmerized them, and these people went into some kind of imaginary ecstasy that they did not give much importance to accepting the nectar from her hands into their cups. So they were captivated. Meanwhile, this Mohini Murti went to the demigods row, and then she distributed all the nectar to them. And these demons observed it. They clearly saw that Mohini Murti was giving all the nectar to the demigods and she was not giving anything to the demons. But somehow these demons promised to Mohini Murti that, oh, whatever you do, at your discretion, whatever justice you do, we are agreeable to it. They have promised. So they did not want to spoil their relationship with a woman. When you are so captivated, when you are so infatuated by attraction towards opposite gender, so whatever that personality does, you don't want to dispute with them. So you just accept everything that they do as ideal. That's what these demons were undergoing now. Demons did not quarrel with a woman. They did not object or they did not perceive it as injustice. They were innocently sitting there, ignorantly sitting there, because they were completely illusioned by Mohini Murti. Mohini Murti comes and speaks some sweet words to the demons, and then she distributes all the nectar to the demigods. So at one point, one demon named Rahu understood that this Mohini Murti is cheating the demons. He thought that, so let me disguise myself as a demigod and let me join the row of these demigods. So he changed his form as a beautiful demigod and he joined the row of the Devatas and he started taking nectar. So when he kept his cup, Mohini Murti poured down nectar into his cup also. He started drinking. At that time, in this Surya and Chandra, the sun god and the moon god, noticed that Rahu, who is actually a demon, took the form of a demigod and he started drinking nectar. So Mohini Murti immediately noticed it and she released her Sudarshan Chakra and she beheaded Rahu. So Rahu's head was separated from his body, and because this nectar, this Amrita went inside the head of Rahu, so his head became immortal. So this head represents this Rahu planet. That's why there is eclipse. There is something called Grahana, eclipse that eclipses sun and moon, because Rahu had a very special enmity towards sun and moon, because they are the ones who pointed out Rahu, who showed Rahu to Mohini Murti and said, oh, this guy is not a demigod, he is a demon. So in this way, Mohini Murti distributed all the nectar to the demigods and completely deprived the demons from all this nectar. And she could have avoided giving nectar to Rahu also, but she allowed Rahu to drink. Why? Because she just wanted to prove the efficacy of this nectar. Whoever drinks nectar, he will become immortal, he will have long life, he will be devoid of all old age and disease, he will always be youthful. The power of nectar is demonstrated through this example of Rahu. Rahu just drank it, even the nectar did not pass through his throat and enter his body, although it came only up to this throat, still that portion of the body was alive, that head was alive, so it has become immortal, it had a long lifespan. So there is no deterioration of his strength. So just to demonstrate the power of nectar, Mohini Murti allowed Rahu to drink nectar partially only up to his throat. So otherwise Mohini Murti could have avoided Rahu also. So somehow all the demigods received the nectar and the demons were completely deprived of all the nectar. So this is the difference between the effort of demigods and effort of the demons. Because the Devatas are surrendered devotees of Lord Vishnu, they received everything. But the demons who were always inimical to Vishnu and the devotees of Vishnu, they did not receive anything. The endeavor started with both parties getting involved, but somehow at the end of this whole endeavor, only one party received the benefit, other party has not received benefit. Sukadeva Goswami explains this phenomena in this way. Evam surasura ganaha samadesha kala hetvartha karma matayopi phale vikalpaha tatramrutam suraganaha phalamanjasapur yatpada pankajarajaha shrayananna daityah. Evam sura asura ganaha, sura means the demigods, asura means the demons. So these two parties, they endeavored samadesha kala hetu artha karma matayo, means the time at which they endeavored together, the place at which they worked together, the hetu, the cause for which they have endeavored, artha, their purpose, the karma, the nature of work they have put together, all of them are exactly same. Samadesha kala hetu artha karma. Phalepi vikalpaha. But the phala, the result that these two parties received is totally different. Although all the aspects of endeavors are same, the results are totally opposite, different. Tatramrutam suraganaha phalamanjasapur. But Amrita, the nectar was given only to the demigods, but the demons are deprived of that nectar. Why? Yat pada pankaja rajaha shrayanan na daityaha. Daityas or the demons have not taken shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. The final message of this whole episode is that if we take shelter of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, there is all success. And if we are averse to a sense of subordination to Vishnu, if we are averse to a sense of cooperation with Vishnu's devotees, although we may put lot of endeavors, still there is no success. Our success is in our surrender to Krishna, surrender to Vishnu. If that surrender, if that seeking of shelter is not there, there is no success. And the material success, the so-called external success that we might receive at times in this world is only temporary, very feeble. Yes, the demons were successful in attaining positions in the heavenly planets, but ultimately because they are not devoted to Lord Vishnu, they have lost everything. Now, in this whole episode, the demigods received all nectar and the demons did not receive any nectar. Because of this, the demons lost their positions in the heavenly planets and the demigods regained their positions. So it is the Supreme Lord's kindness that whoever takes his shelter, he will give him protection. Whoever does not take his shelter, the Lord is willing to protect them also, but because they are not ready for that shelter, the Lord may temporarily put them in different circumstances. Bhakti or taking shelter of the Lord is the ultimate job profile, ultimate duty of every single living entity, and that is completely proved in this beautiful episode of Samudra Manthan. Hare Krishna.
For more such devotional programs, please watch Hare Krishna television. To get this channel, please contact your cable or DTH operator. For more information, please call 8767 845 845.